free update 1.15 and the Oceania pack launched a few days ago, and oh boy am I excited. We will definitely be adding the new viewer gnomes in some of our habitats, and oh my gosh, I really cannot wait to start adding the first animal of the Oceania pack in our zoo, the Tasmanian Devil. I have some really exciting plans for these guys, so definitely stay tuned for that. Hey everyone, my name is DeLadysigner, and today we are back with our Eco Island Park, where in the previous episode we added this beautiful butterfly garden with the free roaming Galapagos giant tortoise, and we also added a lot of endangered animals in these exhibits with lots of animal talks hidden around this building to educate our guests. And talking about education, I do feel like we should add just one more somewhere over here for the Galapagos giant tortoise. I feel like we probably just should add one right over here. Let's just do that. Like, the fences that we have right now, they will be gone, and I will probably have like another extended path right over here, so you can tell that there are some bottlenecks right over here once there is like an animal talk going on. When we make sure that there is some extra path here to walk, I think it's going to be completely fine. So I'm just going to have the Galapagos giant tortoise here. We do need to assign it to an educator, and we need to assign it to a work roster, add it to the butterfly garden work roster, just like the rest right over here. We already have an educator. Yes, we have Kevin and Sarah right over here working at the butterfly garden, but oh my goodness, they do have a very high workload. We can actually train Sarah as well, so that might be a good thing. Training is scheduled for Kevin, so we cannot train Kevin just yet, but I think it's very important to train these two as fast as possible because they have so many animal talking points to work at. So what do we have right over here? Because oh my goodness, okay, we have animals and protesters exhibit. Cleanliness. Okay, yes, we also have an issue with the keeper because the keeper is not able to keep up with all these exhibits. We have one keeper now. Christopher is working in the butterfly garden. He's not able to do that. So we are going to hire another keeper right over here. And you are going to be called Josh. So welcome to our zoo, Josh. And obviously, do keep those first names coming in the comments down below if you want any of these staff members to be named after you. I just absolutely love it. So now that we have Josh, these are all the axolotls. So the keeper is urgently assigned. So you are already cleaning that. That is just perfect. So hopefully we are able to manage this with 2 keepers in this work roster. So yes, look at that. Look who we have here. So in our trading center, we have the new Tasmanian Devils. So right over here, we have Taz, and Taz was found on the road by local wildlife experts next to his dead mom who was hit by a car. So because he is a little bit traumatized by the accident, he is a pretty calm but still very playful little devil. And then right over here, we have Pip, and Pip, her mom, became victim of the devil facial tumor disease, which is an aggressive, non-viral, transmittable, parasitic cancer that affects Tasmanian devils, which actually caused the total population to drop over 65%. I honestly had no idea about that, but that did make me think like, oh my goodness, the Tasmanian devil is just a perfect animal for our Eco Island Park, because this is one of the reasons why the Tasmanian devil is actually endangered. So this sickness called DFTD in short is like a cancer that grows on their face. So they can get it when they bite each other while fighting or mating, and the cancer cells spread from one devil to the other through these bites. So DFTD is a big problem for the devils and can make them super sick and even sometimes cause death. So with this knowledge, which I never heard of before, I thought it would be a super nice idea to actually build a research center. We're going to hire an extra vet who is going to do only research Lush on the Tasmanian devil to help and do more research about this disease and try to see if they can find a cure. And next to the research center, I also want to build an education center, which is obviously going to help to inform all our guests about this disease, other reasons why these animals are endangered, and to also share our conservation efforts for the Tasmanian devil while we try to breed with them and releasing their grown-up offspring into the wild. So yeah, definitely super happy and excited welcoming the Tasmanian devil on our Eco Island Park. Also, talking about releasing animals into the wild, it's time to say goodbye to the lovely and adorable Kiko, the very first red panda that we had in our Eco Island Park. And oh my goodness, she was just so adorable, and I love it that you actually use that little rubbing pad for one last time before we really say goodbye. So yeah, Kiko did become an outsider because she matured, and yeah, it's really time to say goodbye. Release animal to the wild. What do we get? 163 conservation credits? That's not bad. We now have 25 conservation credits from all the exhibits that we have in our zoo. I actually never realized that there is a lifespan remaining rating, fertility remaining rating, fertility gene, and conservation status. That's actually really cool. I always just release these animals in the wild without actually checking what these things say. And she's a golden status, so she's just a perfect red panda to release into the wild. You cannot undo this action. No, we do not want to. There she goes. Now, obviously, we need to make a little memorial space for her, but not like a memorial area where you remember like the dead animals. I was actually thinking to add a wildlife release plaza, and this plaza will be dedicated to the memory of all animals that were released into the wild. So this space allows visitors to learn about the animal's journey and our conservation efforts while honoring their time in our zoo. I think it's just a great way to celebrate both the positive impact that the animal had on the zoo, but also teach our guests more about the conservation of this species. Now, I was actually thinking like to have maybe some kind of plaza somewhere at the entrance, but as we don't really know yet how we're going to fill this whole area in, I think we're going to add some signs right over here, and then later on, when we have the perfect spot for it, we're going to really create this wildlife release plaza. Now, I did already create a picture of little Kiko, so for now we're just going to add some TV screens right over here and add the picture of Kiko. And also, like for the red panda, it's not that important, but I thought it would be a cool idea to make sure that all these TV screens have this advertisement already set up for a habitat. So for all the other habitats that we're going to do, when guests are going to read all these TV screens, they have like this little information of where they can find a certain habitat. So I think it's just smart to have these advertisements connected to these TV screens. And then later on, when we're actually going to build the plaza, we're going to have a little name tag and some information like who were their parents, where they were released, and all this kind of information to inform the guests about their conservation efforts in Eco Island Park. Oh, and if you want to download all these billboards, all the billboards that I use in my builds, you can download from my Discord server. You can find a link to my Discord server in the description of the video. Oh, someone had a really good idea under the first episode in the comment section to actually add webcams. So one of the ideas was to add a webcam right here at the top of the trees. So I think this is one of the branches they actually climb onto. So now when we enter the habitat, oh my goodness, that is actually even cooler than I thought with that boat in the background. So I do hope that this is the branch, but we have to wait and see about that. I think we should also add one right over here at the butterfly garden. So maybe somewhere over here, pointing right towards the fruit plate that we have. Yes, I absolutely love this. Oh, and there are actually butterflies, or at least one butterfly eating from a banana right over here. Yes, this is perfect. So let's add another one right over here in this tree. Yes, this is definitely really nice for the guests to look at the giant Galapagos tortoise when they are at home. And I think we should add one more right over here in the tree, so the guests can also see the giant Galapagos tortoise eat and stuff. So let's just point this one a little bit down. Yes, this is awesome. This is such a nice viewing onto the Galapagos giant tortoise. And you even can see the butterflies from here. Oh, how lovely. Really like this view. Now, the weird thing is that the Galapagos tortoise seems to be thirsty. They both are. The last meal quality is at 50%, which I totally understand. So we can obviously upgrade that. But I do wonder, like, we do have those little water sections, but are they not able to drink from that? That does sound weird to me. But we obviously want to make sure that these guys will not get dehydrated or anything like that. So let's just double check the traversable area right over here. They are not able to drink. Oh, that's odd, isn't it? I mean, in real life, they're actually able to go into the water. Like, they love to spend their day into like these muddy pools. And they're not able to enter. Okay. It's a bit odd, but let's just make sure these guys get the water that they want and not too far away, because else, like, these guys are so slow. I want to hide this one as far as possible, as soon as possible. But for now, the most important thing is that these guys are not going to dehydrate. So I think I'm just going to put one down right over here and make sure that these guys will get a little drink. So looking at our zoo overview, our marketing is like super low. So I do feel like we should just add a little marketing campaign. Not a too expensive one, because we are not like floating in money, and we obviously still need to build a Tasmanian Devil Habitat. So I think I'm just gonna go for a cereal box advertisement. And also, if we go back, the guest happiness rating is now almost 4 stars. So if you just look at the guest happiness rating right over here, energy is in orange, so we maybe need to put down some benches right over here, because it's quite a far walk from all the way this butterfly park to the entrance. So that might be a good idea. And the guests are also hungry and thirsty. Toilet coverage is 75%, so that's good. And education is 57%. But we have 5 stars here. How well educated the guests are when they leave, and the number of vets actively engaging in advanced research. Oh yes, that's what we're going to focus on with the Tasmanian Devils. So I don't exactly know why they're complaining about the education, because our education rating is, other than that, super high. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to that, because I think we are really focusing on education throughout this whole series. So these guests complaining or not being super happy with it, I take it. Let's add some benches around here to make sure that these guests are able to sit down while they are walking from one side to the other side of the island. These are all temporarily, of course, because obviously this whole path is going to be removed later on once we are going to fill up the zoo a little bit more. And for the time being, I feel like we should just add a few shops on this side as well, just to make sure that the guests are not thirsty and hungry. And it also will help a little bit with our income, so I don't think that's a really bad idea to add some more shops here. So we're going to add a pizza pen and a pip shop juice. And even though the guests don't really need a toilet right now, I do think that once they will get a drink right over here, they might want to go to the toilet. So I think it's a good idea to also just add a toilet somewhere around here. And with new shops, we also get some new employees. So this is going to be Tom. And right over here, we're going to have Justine. Welcome to our zoo. And to extra help these guys with their workload, we're going to have Joey right over here, who is going to help these two when they need to take a break or anything like that. And because these shops will probably be moved, I am not going to add these employees in the butterfly work roster. I'm going to create a new work zone here, which we are going to call Butterfly Garden Shops. Even though it will be moved later on, then we will change the name, but I think it's just easier for us to recognize when we have a different work roster for these guys. Now, looking at Emma and Julia, they do have a very high workload, but we are already training these guys. So I'm just going to train the rest of the staff as well, as much as we can, because the last thing we want is that you guys will get overworked. Now, I do realize that we only have one caretaker, Ricardo. So I think, because I did see some full bins at some point when going through the zoo. I don't see them right now, but I think Ricardo could use some help here as well. So Ricardo will be helped by Mabel. Welcome to our Eco Island staff team. So we are going to start with placement of the vet, quarantine, and research centers because these buildings will be part of the Tasmanian Devil Research Center. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to place these buildings. First I thought I wanted the path to be flat, like connected to the terrain, but then I realized that I would have terrain sticking out of the edges next to the path, so that's when I changed my mind and went for a floating path instead that will be connecting all these buildings together. So we will be raising a little bit of the terrain still just to make sure that we have a nice transition from these floating path to a normal connected path to the terrain, if that makes any sense. Now the research center with education will be at the top layer, and then on the lower layer we will have a smaller educational area for the Tasmanian Devil. Now at this level we will have a toilet building, and we will also add the viewing domes entrance right over here because I feel like this might be the best way in using these viewing domes entrances when building new habitats without hiding them completely because they're just so big. So yeah, this is the first time for me integrating a viewing dome entrance inside of a building, and see how that will go. So when all the buildings and paths were in place, I added some walls around the building to create the first edges of the building, and after that I started lowering the terrain in front of the building to give myself an idea of where the habitat will be located. Like I wanted to play around a little bit here with the different height elevations as well, because obviously the island originally isn't all flat, you know. So when I had pretty much a raw sketch of where I wanted everything to be, I started with planning out the windows for the building and adding some more walls to hide the buildings that are inside here. Now the shape of the windows will change later on because we will be playing with smaller and bigger windows around the building. Now the flooring will be the same color as I use more often, like this darker brown color. Like I tried to go for something else, but honestly, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. So I always end up with my safe brown glass floor. I'll also be adding these plaster pieces on both sides of the building on the outside, creating like this little edge, and then later on we will fill in the complete roof area of the buildings, all to give it more of like this modern vibe to the building. And when I had all the plaster pieces in place, I made sure to duplicate one layer to create two layers, which will make sure that the roof becomes a little bit thicker so we can create a nice wooden edge to it to make it all look a lot better and more interesting in my opinion. So when the roof was finished, I decided to work on the windows and detailing the windows. We are using the big glass panels for these windows, which are, I think, 12 by 6 meter wide if I'm correct. The only downside of these panels is that they have some kind of brownish color to the glass, and you can recolor the glass as well, but I honestly have no idea how to get a nice normal glass color. Is there anyone watching right now that does know the right color code for these glass panels to remove this brownish tint to them? I really would love to know. So to give the building more depth and contrast, we are using these black metal beams on the edge of the windows, which in general gives a really nice touch to the building, also for that more modern vibe that we are going for. And we will also be using the same metal pieces for the entrance of both buildings. Like I didn't want to go into too many small details, but I really couldn't resist to create my own metal glass doors here because it does look so good and so much more realistic. So yeah, I'm super happy with the end result of the doors. So when the doors were in place, I started placing the viewing domes and the burrows, because if there is one thing I've learned the past week is that the easiest way to implement these domes is to place them in your habitat first before any other things, even before placing any fences and water, because there are so many things that can make sure you're not able to place these domes. So if you haven't seen it yet, I've made a how to add viewing domes tutorial on the channel as well, with all kinds of tips and tricks for placing down these domes. So if you struggle with placing down these domes, I highly recommend you to watch that tutorial. I will link it in the description of this video. So about the fences, the ocean view in this map is just so beautiful? Even though it's secretly a diorama, you could easily forget this when being on guest level on the island. So yeah, when having such a beautiful viewing, I honestly feel super bad of ruining the view with any fences. So I did a little cheating here. I am using a lot of the Null fences for this habitat and used the elephant grass underneath it again to make sure the Tasmanian devil won't be able to escape. And oh boy, am I happy that I did this, because when you see the end result, it really is so worth it. So with the fences and the elephant grass in place, it was time for a lot of rock work, because this area was supposed to be quite a rocky area on the island when they came here. So they had to build the habitat around all these existing rocks, and that's why they had to build the research center on top of the rocks a little bit as well. Now on the other side of the research center, we had quite a nice space for another open viewing gallery. At least for now, I'll leave it open, but maybe in the future I still might decide to close it. I don't know actually, but you will see me closing down the viewing gallery underneath it with the new rock walls from the Oceania pack that I love so much. However, I will also use them at first as fences for the habitat, but honestly, when I had all the fences in place and I looked from above from the research center, I really didn't like the view with all these rock walls closing up the habitat in the view. So yeah, this was the point I really went full on cheating with the elephant grass and created a more natural boundary around the viewing gallery, and it honestly just looks so much better in my opinion. So we just pretend there are small electric fences hidden around the edge of the habitat, keeping the animals in their habitat or something. Like, I don't know, but I do hope you guys can forgive me for doing this, and once you see the end result with the beautiful water around the island, I hope you guys agree with me that this was just the best solution to go for. So then it was time to fill up the area around the habitat bit and the habitat itself with lots of trees and bushes. It was a little bit of a struggle trying to use the new plants for it as well. Like, I'm not quite used to them yet and how I like to use them, but in the end I am super happy with how everything has turned out. It's all very nice, green and lush, but yet also still a nice and open space, also for the researchers to observe the Tasmanian devil. So after I had a lot of the green shrubs and foliage in place, it was time to work on the education side of the building. And oh my goodness, I had so much fun with this because I honestly found such perfect billboards for the research center about the devil facial tumor disease. So we will be using a lot of those around the research center. And I also used the education stands I created for my African penguin habitat in Abaya Zoo for this area, and changed the color and billboards to match the research center. So if you want to use that one as well, you can download it from my Steam workshop. You can just find me as DeLadysigner there. And we will also have some signs here with the names of our fantastic YouTube FaveM members to thank you guys all so much for all your support. So we will be thanking you guys for your donations for the disease research and others for their donations to the Tasmanian devils in our zoo. And then at the lower level, there is some more general Tasmanian devil information with some big billboards with some self-made pictures and the in-game education sign. And I think it's so nice to see that with a few of these billboards, it's so easy to create a nice looking education area, if I may say so myself. You can find all my social media links and a Discord via my website www.DeLadysigner.com or via my YouTube profile. I hope you guys can already tell why I did not add any fences here. I mean, the blue water is just so stunning, but also super happy with the end result of this habitat. We have this really cool research center right over here and an education area right over here. What do we have here that is making some alarms? Low on money. Yes, that's why I could not finish the rest of it. Power source inaccessible. Oh my goodness. Oh, I was so much hoping that this would actually work because I added some mini solar panels right over here on the roof. I'm just not really a huge fan of these huge buildings. It's super frustrating, honestly. But there's nothing else we can do right now. I was actually secretly thinking to maybe just have these guys as our solar panels and just have the settings turn on that you have everything powered, if you know what I mean. So like we are forced to add solar panels on every roof, but then we're missing like the management part over here. So I'm not entirely sure about that. How do you guys feel? Taz and Pip are coming. Their first time in their habitat. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? This is Pip, the little female. Welcome in our zoo. Sniffing around right away. Just look how cool this looks. Oh, I'm so happy. I think you're happy too, aren't you? Oh, this is so adorable. Where are you going? Look at that. We obviously did do a lot of decorating also off camera. Like you guys know by now, the beams and stuff that I like to use and a lot of the foliage work. Oh, I think Taz is here as well. Let's see how Taz is going to react. The first reaction on your new habitat. How do you feel about that, Taz? Are you happy? I hope you are. That did sound like a pretty satisfied noise. We are just gently going to walk through here and explore it all. Oh, it's so cute, isn't it? Oh, we do need to make sure that we get a keeper in here. So let's just do that right away. And we also want to hire an extra veterinarian because we are going to do extra advanced research in our research center to help and find a cure for this Tasmanian devil disease that is going on in Tasmania. So we're going to name you Gamma. Welcome to our staff team. And Laura will now be Paige. Thank you guys so much for applying for a job here. Now, we already did set up a little work roster, but I did not add these buildings in here. So I do think that's a very smart thing to do. There's no staff buildings, so we have these staff buildings included. But now that we have a Tasmanian Devil Habitat, I'm going to change the name to Habitat and Research Center. And I'll give both of you the right work zone. There we go. And then we're going to make sure that Gamma is going to do advanced research here on the Tasmanian Devil, which is also going to help us with our overall education rating and hopefully guest happiness as well. And I just really love the idea that she is doing advanced research specifically for the Tasmanian Devil. So right over here, you can have a really nice view onto the research center and the education center. There are 2 viewing domes in here. The entrance will be at the education center here as well. There's a little natural water source right over here for the Tasmanian Devil to drink. And obviously spread out through the habitat, we have some enrichment items like the blood pumpkin and the skittle and a ball for them to play with. Now, as you can tell, we still have a lot of work to do right over here, but our money was a thing, so I really wanted to have the Tasmanian Devils in, so we were able to earn a little bit more money. This is the education center, and as I said, like these are 2 billboards. You can download them all from my Discord server, and it just works super well to just have an interesting wall right over here, and the guests hopefully will enjoy some education. We have a conservation education sign. There's a toilet right over here, and this is the entrance to the viewing dome. So if we now just click one of these viewing domes, there are no guests here yet. I think they're all on their way. Oh, there we go. There are the first guests. So we have a nice viewing from here. And this is the other burrow. Look at that view. Isn't that just fantastic? I really love this. And this is the research center. So we have all the names from the FAFM members for the Tasmanian Devil Donators Wall sign. And here we have a connection with the Burrows, only the Burrows itself look a little bit weird, but it seems like the glitching has been fixed. So if you now connect a Burrow to a TV screen, there should not be any flickering around here. So we are testing that right away. Here we have a lot of really interesting education signs for the Tasmanian Devil that I found online, how they get the disease and how it affects them. And where is the other one? Yes, you can see right over here, this is how a tumor would look in their face. So yeah, this is definitely a very nice educational area for the research center as well. for our guests to get informed about the Tasmanian devil. So here we have 2 more signs as well, and we have the same signs on this side as well. And then here we have 2 research centers. So I did turn off the guest settings right over here. Enable negative effect of facilities on guest happiness. If turned off, facilities will no longer have a negative impact on guest happiness when in close proximity. And obviously we do want that because this research center is all about educating our guests. So we want them to not become unhappy. We want them to be interested in anything that happens right over here. So we have the vet here so they can see anything that happens right over there. And we have quarantine because I thought like in a research center, the quarantine probably would fit best. So I just moved it from the entrance area where we have some facility buildings still standing there. But yeah, super happy with how this all has turned out. And you can tell from the viewing right over here and from here as well, what I mentioned during the speed build, like I just didn't want to have any fences ruining this, and it looks so much better without the walls or whatsoever. Definitely do let me know in the comments down below what you guys all think of this habitat. And some other good news, Darwina, our Galapagos giant tortoise, is expecting offspring. So let me know in the comments down below what kind of names you would suggest for males and females tortoises, because we probably need a lot because these guys can get quite a lot of offspring. So definitely do let me know all the name suggestions in the comments down below for Darwina, their offspring. And talking about offspring, I do feel like it's time for Milo and Lumi to let go of their contraceptives and see if they can get some more offspring in here. Where is Lumi? Oh, she's right over here going to get a little drink. So these guys are, she's an elderly, but if I'm correct, they can still get offspring. Produced, fertility, current conditions, perfect conditions. So according to the Zoopedia, they can get offspring until they're 15 years old. I think we don't have to worry about that. I was shocked for just a second because else we should have kept Kiko maybe? Fingers crossed that hopefully in the next episode or the one after that, we will be seeing some more offspring. That will be just super amazing. So according to the Zoopedia, the Tasmanian devil is pretty difficult to reproduce and they can have a number of offspring of 1 to 4. So I do feel like it's a good idea to double check how their welfare is doing right now. I think they're in this burrow. Yes, they are. Okay, so we have the stats of Pip right over here. The last meal quality we can absolutely change. So are we going to... Yes, well, we have like this really important conservation effort going on right over here. So I do feel like they deserve to get grade 3. Well, all the animals actually deserve grade 3, but we have that on grade 2 for now for most animals. But for the Tasmanian devil, I'm going right away for grade 3 food. And then other than that, everything seems to be pretty well. The terrain and stuff, I think 92% is really good. So let's compare their mates real quick. They have an 85% chance of offspring. Oh, I absolutely love that. That's pretty nice already. And their gene potential also is looking pretty nice. But it might also be important to make sure that once we get some offspring, to maybe give these 2 contraceptives and keep them in our zoo, of course. But then see if we are able to get some new offspring with their offspring to see if we can really try and work on those genes for the Tasmanian devil. Because if we go back to the Zoopedia, you can see that their group size is 1 to 5. So we only have 2 Tasmanian devils in here right now. So I think we are able to just make sure that we keep one of their offspring and continue breeding with that offspring to get better genes for the Tasmanian devil before we release them in the wild. I think that would be such a great idea. What do you guys think? Well, I guess don't really look that happy, do they? But that's probably because the Tasmanian devil is inside their burrows, so they can't really see much. I am curious if we are able to see their thoughts. Like if we just go right over here, they will be able to get out here, right? Yes. Okay, there they are. What are their thoughts? I'm inside the Tasmanian Devil Dome entrance habitat and it's great. I'm inside the Tasmanian Devil Dome entrance habitat and it's okay. So They have a little bit of mixed thoughts about it, I guess. But I won't blame them because they probably didn't see the Tasmanian Devil right now. Do let me know what you guys all think of this Tasmanian Devil Research Center and what we're going to do here with our vets and research and the education center and of course the Tasmanian Devil Habitat in here as well. Please let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed and subscribe of course if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out the viewing dome tutorial if you really want some tips and tricks on how to build them if you're struggling with them. Thank you all so much for watching. I really look forward all your name suggestions for the baby tortoises that are on their way and the red panda babies that are on their way hopefully very soon. And who knows, we might also see some baby Tasmanian devils in the future. That will be just super amazing. Thank you all so much for watching and I really do hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye guys!